Hello subscribers and non-subscribers who just enjoy watching wood turning videos. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's installment of The Naked Turner. Today I happen to be given a small chunk of persimmon by one of my viewers who is from Oklahoma. Hey Alan, before I get to turning this, I just really want to thank you for sending me this piece, and hopefully I'll be able to turn it into something. I'm at least going to give it my best shot, and I'll post some video, and you'll get to enjoy seeing the piece of wood that you sent me get turned into something, hopefully. Thanks a lot, Alan Hefner, and I really appreciate it. This should be fun. This piece here is, let's see, this piece is just under 9 inches by just under 4.5 inches. So it's pretty much a 50% to 1 full ratio. So it's like a 1/2 to 1 ratio. So, and I think this is about 1.5 inches thick, just a little over. Yeah, 1 5/8 thick. So what I'm going to be doing with this today, I'm going to be turning something off center. So I have applied my faceplate here with 6 screws and made sure I had a flat surface to mount that to. Now I'll be mounting this up on my lathe. Once I have it mounted on my lathe, first thing I'm going to do is create a mortise right here on the back side, and then shape the bowl and the platter that will be attached to the bowl, which will be a flat surface similar to some of the other off-center rectangular turnings that I've done in the past. So we'll see how this goes. There is a little bit of moisture. You can see some moisture here in the middle. I did do a few microwave treatments to this where I allowed it to dry for 30 to 45 seconds in the microwave for about maybe 9 runs through the microwave at that setting, high setting, 30 to 45 seconds, and just let it get warm. It still has a little bit of warmth to it right now, but it's almost fully cooled down. And then my hopes is that in turning this, I'll turn it to a consistent thickness, and in the turning process it will also continue drying during the sanding and turning, and hopefully I'll end up with a piece that's almost dry and then dries and stays fairly stable. So let's mount it up on the lathe and get to turning. Alright, don't forget to read, follow, and understand all the shop safety, and make sure you wear a safety shield when you're turning, especially when you're turning off-centered pieces, because it's out of balance and you're turning across square edges, so you have more of a potential for catching a splinter and sending a splinter flying. Alright, so it's mounted up here. Everything's locked off. I'm making sure it's spinning and not hitting anything, and turning down my lathe speed. Okay, there we go. So I have it turning up around 790 RPM. And first thing I'm going to do is come in here, and just see how it cuts, because I've never cut any of this before. Take a look. Okay, looks like it's going to cut pretty nicely actually. Alright, so I'm coming in. I'm removing some material here. Now I'm going to lower my handle. Trying to keep the bevel rubbing. Okay, so you can see what's happening. I'm starting to define the concentric portion of this chunk of wood.
create a center using my scribe. And now I'm creating the mortise on the bottom of this vessel so that I can take my scrolling jaw chuck and chuck up into the recess. Now I'm flattening the bottom and using my 1/2 inch round nose scraper to flatten, and now back to my skew chisel in order to clean up the inside of the mortise. Now I'm using my 1/2 inch bowl gouge to remove material from the underside of this bowl.
Hopefully that's going to be a little better angle here. So as you can see what I'm doing, I'm just kind of defining this edge here, creating a foot for this vessel. And I'm going to leave the foot fairly wide because it has this whole plank that'll be cantilevered off of it. So I'm just going to keep cutting this down until I get somewhere close to the halfway point here.
I'm using my bowl gouge, 1/2 inch bowl gouge, to remove more material from the bottom of this bowl. And it's spinning by me, so I'm cutting a lot of air, so I have it turned up around 15 to 1800 RPM. And this video is running at 16 times speed.
Okay, that looks good. Everything locked off. Okay, we're going to try that. A little bit of sanding and that's there. I do have some moisture in here, so I may have to let it do a little bit of drying, but that looks real nice. I'm going to just do a soft curve out here now, just to soften that edge up. Okay, so I'm going to put some sanding sealer on it now. It's got this kind of canary yellow sort of quality to some parts of it that should be nice. It's kind of, I think it's oxidizing a little bit too. Alright, so now before I flip it around, I'm just using my block plane to flatten that edge. And now I've got a real nice, flat, very smooth surface using that block plane. So I just wanted to show you that part of the process. You know, like it's got a certain smell to it that reminds me of like lilac. It smells a lot like, kind of like a lilac tree, or whatever you call it, a lilac vine. It has a very viney kind of smell. Alright, so there it is. Now I'm going to flip that around and start turning it from the other side. Okay, so now I have this my 4-jaw scrolling jaw chuck mounted in my mortise and expanded out, so I have it under expansion. Not too much tension, but enough to hold it. Safety gears on. Got my fan on too, blowing some of this persimmon dust away from me. It's a little stinky. And everything's locked down, spinning really well. Spinning up at, I'm going to turn it down a hair, 1300 RPM. Okay.
Okay, I'm using my 1/2 inch bowl gouge again to surface this piece off. And now I'm marking where the outside edge of the bowl will be, and then just removing more material off of the off-center portion of this piece. I'm flattening it out, trying to get a nice consistent thickness all the way across the piece.
Okay, so I'm going to start the hollowing process here, still using my 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and I'll be coming in and defining an edge and then starting my hollowing process. Spinning up at 1800 RPM.
I'm using my 1/2 inch bowl gouge to remove material from the inside of this bowl until I'm happy with the depth, and then I'm switching over to my scrapers, creating a little lip in case I ever want to put a lid on this bowl, which I probably will.
Alright, so I have it sanded down to 320 now. Lots of hand sanding. Now I'm putting on some sanding sealer. Okay, somewhere in here my card filled up. So I just was saying I put on some sanding sealer, and now I'm going to do some wet dry sanding here on this piece up to 320, and then I will be putting on some of my friction rub finish, and I'll check back in with you when that's done so that you can see the finished product. But there it is. It's got some really weird kind of grain, and it's kind of interesting and kind of strange. Anyway, this piece should turn out to be a pretty nice piece once I get my final coat of finish on here. And like I was saying, it won't be as glossy because I'm going to hand apply it. In here I will be able to get a fairly glossy appearance, but out here I'm just going to be hand applying the friction rub. So anyway, there you go. I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so here's the finished piece. 5/16 inch consistent thickness. Piece of persimmon. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please like. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and share this if you'd like to, and make some comments. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed another episode of The Naked Turner.